sorry, dude, I'm just, there's like, you cannot get me to agree with this. Like, I'm so pro eating meat, and like, I'm just genuinely, I don't really, like, I think it's great that people are vegan and vegetarian, but I just, that's not me, and I don't think that'll ever be me.
Do you think, though, that the pleasure you get from, these products or consuming them, justifies doing this stuff?
The nutrients and all the energy.
But you can get nutrients from other sources.
These cows is worth it. I mean, I don't know, because I feel like I'm not educated enough on what they go through.
Well,
I don't think that's a statement I can like agree to or disagree with.
I have a resource card. If I were to give it to you and there's a documentary on it, it's called Dominion. This is what we're showing clips of it.
I'd probably just say willingly ignorant.
Just now? Could I have you, we just do a little chalk just so you're in frame. Just right in the blue, kind of.
Right in the blue.
Maybe, yeah, that should be good. All right, so the social experiment, essentially, we're here talking about oppression. And so, do you think the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
Oh, I get this, because this does have a lot of like political and like worldly, what's the word? Just like place you can use that. Do I think that like oppressor should be able to oppress? Like, no. Who's gonna say yes to that? But sadly, it happens.
Yeah.
And that's what our society is kind of built upon. So, like, sadly, it does happen, and there are things that we all can do collectively as a society to work together and stop it. But yeah, so no, I wish it didn't happen.
Right, and like we're talking about like in the instance of like if someone may be stronger or smarter or just have the power to essentially oppress or dominate someone, like obviously we can probably
don't want that to happen, and I think most people don't want that to happen.
Right. So do you think in the ways we use animals, for example, like when we send them into slaughterhouses, for like food or clothing or like cosmetic testing or like zoos and stuff, like using them for like entertainment?
I think you just, I was listening to you when you were talking about like slaughterhouses and there's in the like area of eating animals, but you moving on to like what's the word, connecting that to like animal abuse and zoos, I don't know if I fully agree with.
You wouldn't say sending...
I don't know if I fully agree with that. Like the second part of that statement, like zoos, animal cruelty, I'm 1000% against that. But I personally don't think that my like opinion really connects that to...
Would you not say, though, sending animals into a slaughterhouse where they're, or like even farming them where they're exploited and commodified for their body and then sent into these situations, where they're, hung upside down, have their throats cut open, sent into gas chambers? Do you not think that's cruel?
Personally, I like to think that, humans and animals... intellectually, and the fact that we're just different species, the experiences are very different, and I believe that if any of those things were done to like a human, I think absolutely that is cruel, that is fucked, that cannot happen. However, if we're talking about just like eating animals and like the meat industry in itself, I'm gonna have to say. And again, there's probably so many scientific studies that can tell me that I'm incorrect. You know what I mean? They can tell me like, oh, animals understand this much level of sentience. But if we go down that path, then it's like, you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to eat anything. But
you could eat plants, or you could
eat plants,
choose not to.
Then you could say the thing like, oh my gosh, just because we can't understand if they're conscious or not, then that's bad. You know what I mean? I feel like if you just keep going down that rabbit hole, or at the same time, some people, for animal cruelty reasons, they don't eat fish, but then it's like, oh, just because fish don't express the same, you know what I mean?
Well, we know plants aren't sentient. They don't have a brain or central nervous system. And like you wouldn't compare like cutting the stem of like a broccoli to like cutting a dog's throat, for example.
Honestly, you're totally right. No, I do agree with that. I think I just contradicted myself. That is not what I meant to say by that connection. I really just... But I'm sorry, I disagree. I feel like eating meat is something that, you know what I mean, is important. For a lot of health... Well, I specifically think like a lot of health reasons is the main thing that I think is important. It's also just like what our society already like uses.
What like health reasons specifically?
Well, I know a lot of like people who need like iron, you know what I mean, things like that. There's just lots of nutrients that are, again, very much possible to get with plants. But do I think that it's, you know, that's something that would work for our entire society, or like work for more people? So, or like when we connect it to like people with health issues who really need those specific nutrients and vitamins and all those things like that, to you know, forcing people to get that in different ways.
Well, there's like,
it's harder. It doesn't work for everyone.
well, for example, like iron, you can get it from like spinach, for example. And you know, there's obviously dietitians and nutritionists that you can speak to if, you know, you want to, you know, go down the route of veganism, and they can help you, you know, getting all your nutrients in, and, you know, consuming a plant-based diet. And I mean, you know, there's no nutrients that you can't get from plants. The only one technically would be B12, but I mean, you can just take a supplement, or you can eat fortified plant foods. And
it
like,
just sounds kind of expensive to do all that.
Well,
genuinely, like,
I mean, nutritional yeast, it's not very, I mean,
it's not very expensive.
not very expensive. And actually, there was a study done by Oxford University, and it actually looked at a list of a bunch of different diets, and it found that plant-based diets or vegan diets were actually 30% cheaper than, you know, every other diet. So, I mean, because like, if you think about
awesome.
it, things like beans, you know, rice, pasta, legumes, you know, stuff like that, fruits, vegetables, they're all, you know, super cheap. So, I mean, it's all about what you buy, technically. And like, if you were to go buy, say, like the fake mock meats, sure, that could add up and maybe be more expensive. But I mean,
hey, I myself enjoy some tofu from time to time. I just, you know what I mean? I think reducing the amount of meat you eat, totally understandable. But I think the idea of like, you know, we should not do this at all because of like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cruel, all these things.
Well, if this was you, if you were in that position, how would you want people to just reduce?
I don't think is that a deer?
No, that's a cow, a baby cow.
I just like don't think that I would ever be in that way because I'm not a cow. And
but if you were, I mean, like, what if an alien species hypothetically came down and started to farm humans, and they were more intelligent, they were stronger?
If an alien species came down and started to farm humans,
would that be okay? Would you view that as
I
okay?
just think I would probably kill myself before they got to me. I'm going to be honest. If an alien species came down on Earth, and I just, you know, again, if that was happening to a human, I'd think it was most definitely inhumane and not okay. But
you don't think this is wrong?
That's just not a human.
Down? But
like, that's
I mean,
just a cow.
What's the morally relevant difference, though, that justifies doing this to them? Would you say? They're sentient. They have a subjective experience. They see, they're experiencing the world just like us.
Them, though, for like food. And
what do we need them for? We can get everything we need from plants in terms of food and.
Like if that Cuddy that he had to experience that, I'd be like, that's horrible. But they're cows, bro. At the end of the day, it's their cows. Like.
But you're saying they're cows, but what's the difference? I mean, just you can say they're just cows, but what justifies, you know, exploiting and harming them?
We're a completely different species.
But I mean, you know, you could look back to.
I know what you're saying. I just like I understand like the moral standpoint, and like, do I think it's like that's bad doing that to another species? Like, I don't think I could do that to a cow. I don't think I could do that to a cow.
But you pay for it, right?
Yeah, I do.
So
you're right.
Do you think
I make a difference with my dollar? You're right. I guess my dollar is supporting that.
Right. So do you? Yeah. I mean, what would stop? I mean, you from paying for this? Because I mean,
sorry, steak's just like really good.
There's vegan steaks.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm just there's like, you cannot get me to agree with this. Like, I'm so pro eating meat, and like, I'm just genuinely, I don't really like, I think it's great that people are vegan and vegetarian, but I just, you know, that's not me, and I don't think that'll ever be me.
Do you think, though, that the pleasure you get from, you know, these products or consuming them, you know, justifies doing this to them?
The nutrients and all the energy.
But you can get nutrients from other sources.
These cows is worth it. I mean, I don't know, because I feel like I'm not educated enough on what they go through.
Well,
like, I don't think that's a statement I can like agree to or disagree with.
I have a resource card. If I were to give it to you and there's a documentary on it, it's called Dominion. This is what we're showing clips of it.
I'd probably just say willingly ignorant.
You don't want to be a conformed consumer?
I think I would genuinely just be a bad person and just not read it.
Well, I mean, we're not out here like, you know, necessarily saying like people are bad people. I mean, like, because I wasn't vegan for my entire life. I spent 22 years, you know, consuming animal products. But then I learned and found out what these animals go through, and I learned that I didn't need to do this to them. You
felt a lot of empathy for the animals, for the cows.
Yeah, I mean, like when you see what they're
related to the cows.
Well, I mean, I don't think you need to necessarily relate to them to see that, putting them in a grinder when they're, on their first day of life.
Just laugh at that on camera.
All right. Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem like you're willing to change, or at least look at the resources.
I'm so sorry.
Well, not necessarily.
I have my opinion, and this is something that I personally do not think would likely change for me.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I don't expect you one conversation to obviously change your whole worldview, but I just encourage you to look into this. Would you be willing to take the resource card that I have, or just look into it?
Save it for someone who's gonna actually use it.
All right.
Save the print. It was nice.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good day.
I'm happy that you're making change.
Well, I hope you, consider your choices and don't exploit animals.